head in Mr. Hitler.
Good morning everyone, how you doing? It's Paul here from Unusual Things. Now we are in St George's Churchyard, well we will be, in Kent. Nice early one this morning. Come to see the final resting place of Jean, that's not Jean at all, he's not French. Could be though with a surname, but it's John Le Mesurier. Okay, now of course he is a star of Dad's Army. It's a little bit dark still this morning, which isn't a bad thing, you don't have to see my old boat race. But we're going to have a look around here and I'll tell you some information on John before we do. It's a October morning, hence the dark morning, but look at that, doesn't it look cool? Okay, and we'll get on with it now, shall we? John Le Mesurier, 5th of April 1912 to the 15th of November 1983. John was born John Elton Le Mesurier, Halliley in Bedford on the 5th of April 1912. His parents were Charles Elton Halliley, a solicitor, and Amy Michelle née Le Mesurier, whose family were from Alderney in the Channel Islands. Both families were affluent with histories of government service work, all coming from the legal profession. While John was an infant, the family settled in Bury St Edmunds, West Suffolk. He went to school first in Greenham House in Kent and later to Sherborne School in Dorset, where one of his fellow pupils was the mathematician Alan Turing. After leaving school, he was initially persuaded to follow his father's line of work as clerk at Green & Green, a firm of solicitors in Bury St Edmunds. In his spare time, he took part in local amateur dramatics. In 1933, he decided to leave the legal profession, and in September he enrolled at the Fay Compton Studio of Dramatic Art. A fellow student was the actor Alec Guinness, with whom he became close friends. In September 1940, Le Mesurier's rented home was hit by a German bomb, destroying all of his possessions, including his call-up papers. In the same bombing raid, the theatre in Brixton, in which he was working, was also hit. A few days later, he reported to basic training with the Royal Armoured Corps. In June 1941, he was commissioned into the Royal Tank Regiment. He served in Britain until 1943, when he was posted to British India, where he spent the rest of the war. Le Mesurier later claimed that he had a comfortable war, with captaincy thrust upon me before I was demobbed in 1946. On his return to Britain, he returned to acting. He initially struggled for work, finding only a few minor roles. In February 1948, he made his film debut in the second feature comedy Short Death in the Hand, which starred Esme Percy and Ernest J. He followed this with equally small roles in the 1949 film Old Mother Riley's New Venture, where his name was misspelt on the credits, and the 1950 crime film Dark Interval. During the same period, he also frequently appeared on stage in Birmingham. Le Mesurier undertook several roles on television in 1951, including that of Dr. Forrest in The Railway Children, the blackmailer Eduardo Lucas in Sherlock Holmes, The Second Stain, and Joseph in the nativity play A Time to Be Born. The same year, Tony Hancock joined Le Mesurier's second wife, Hattie Jakes. The couple had married in 1949 following his divorce from June Melville earlier that year. In the radio series Educating Archie, Le Mesurier and Hancock became friends, and they would often go for drinking sessions around Soho, where they ended up in jazz clubs. After Hancock left in Educating Archie in 1952, after one season, the friendship continued and Jakes joined the cast of Hancock's Half Hour during the fourth radio series in 1956. In 1968, Le Mesurier was offered a role in a new BBC situation comedy, playing an upper-middle-class sergeant, Arthur Wilson, in Dad's Army. He was the second choice after Robert Dorning. He was unsure about taking the part as he was finishing the final series of George and the Dragon, and did not want to enter another long-term television role. He was persuaded by both an increase in his fee to £262.10 per episode, and by the casting of his old friend Clive Dunn as Corporal Jones. Le Mesurier was initially unsure of how to portray his character, and was advised by series writer Jimmy Perry to make the part his own. He decided to base the character on himself, later writing that, "I thought, why not just be myself? Use an extension of my own personality and behave rather as I had done in the army. So I always left a button or two undone. and had the sleeve of my battle dress slightly turned up. I spoke slightly softly, issued commands as if they were invitations, the sort not likely to be accepted, and generally assumed a benign air of helplessness. Perry later observed that we wanted Wilson to be the voice of sanity. He has just become John. In between his performances in Dad's Army, he acted in films including the role of the prison governor opposite Noel Coward in the 1969 Peter Collinson-directed The Italian Job. The cinema historian Amy Sargent linked Le Mesurier's role to the mild demeanour of his Sergeant Wilson character. In 1970, he appeared in Ralph Thomas's Doctor in Trouble as the purser. In June 1947, Le Mesurier went with fellow actor Geoffrey Hibbert to the Players Theatre in London, where among the performers was Hattie Jacques. He and Jacques began to see each other regularly. John was still married, a bit estranged from his wife. In 1949, when his divorce came through, Jacques proposed, asking him, "Don't you think it's about time we got married?" The couple married in November 1949 and had 2 sons, Robin and Kim. Jacques began an affair in 1962 with her driver, John Schofield, who gave her the attention and support that Le Mesurier didn't. When Jacques decided to move Schofield into the family home, Le Mesurier moved into a separate room and tried to repair the marriage. He later commented about this period, "I could have walked out, but whatever my feelings, I loved Hattie and her children, and I was certain I had to be certain that we could just repair this damage." The affair caused a downturn in his health. He collapsed on holiday in Tangier in 1963 and was hospitalised in Gibraltar. He returned to London to find the situation between his wife and her lover was unchanged, which caused a relapse. Towards the end of his life, Le Mesurier wrote his autobiography, A Jobbing Actor. The book was published in 1984 after his death. His health visibly declined from July 1983, when he was hospitalised for a short time after suffering a hemorrhage. When the condition recurred later in that year, he was taken to Ramsgate Hospital after saying to his wife, "It's all been rather lovely." He slipped into a coma and died on the 15th of November 1983, aged 71. His remains were cremated and the ashes buried at the Church of St George. His epitaph reads, "John Le Mesurier, much loved actor, resting." His South Pen death notice in the Times on the 16th of November 1983 stated that he had conked out and that he sadly misses family and friends. So that's all the information there on John Le Mesurier. What an amazing guy, what an amazing actor. Bit of a sad ending really, especially in his personal life. But I think I found it. Now John was interred here. Here we are. John Le Mesurier, much loved actor, 1912 to 1983, resting. Kim Jake Le Mesurier, 1956 to 1991. Siempre. Now I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's Latin or French, or I'm sure one of you guys would very kindly let me know in the comments. Wow. One of the greats from Dad's Army and many other things. Great actor. So there we have the final resting place of John Le Mesurier. Le Mesurier, it depends how you want to say it, doesn't it? Thank you, John. Amazing actor. You know, we all remember Dad's Army, and what a funny man he was with his sort of deadpan seriousness. Some people took him serious in it, some people didn't. Most people didn't. But it's great. Look at these 2 little chairs sat here. I wonder if that's so someone could just come and sit and observe. Oh no, I've just seen the bottles of Budweiser underneath. Not guilty. So there we have it, the final resting place of John Le Mesurier. Le Mesurier. Amazing guy, amazing actor. Yeah, don't forget to leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on this one. There's a long, long way to come. It's a shame that there's not more there for people, you know, like John. But there you go. Some people want to be cremated. They want to just be left alone, and that's fine. We completely get that, don't we? Big church behind me. Whatever way it goes, that way. Can't really see I'm going to have any luck walking into this place. Looks well and truly locked. Don't even know if this is the front door. Yeah, that's locked. Oh well, we tried. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave your comments down below and like and subscribe and all the other stuff if you haven't done so already. So from St George's in Thanet, right on the coast of Kent, right on the edge of England. I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy.